Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Newark. I'm Jamie Gray. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm your worship associate for today. I've been coming to UUFN for, 3 years or so, and I am involved with the Social Justice Committee at the UUFN. And today we welcome Reverend Ayliah Cannon to the pulpit.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing today? I'd like to wish everyone here a happy Father's Day. And it's not only Father's Day, there's a lot going on in June. Today's the summer solstice. Happy solstice. And it's not just summer solstice. We had Juneteenth on Friday. And if you live in Canada, or if you're from Canada, like I was born on the border, it's Native American or Indigenous Persons History Month. I was born right across the border, and all of my ancestors are from the Mohawk Reservation. And it straddles it's kind of funny, it straddles the border between the U.S. and Canada. So the people who are born there actually are granted dual citizenship. Let's see how they handle that one. No. And most of all, we're here to talk about Pride Month. How do we possibly talk about pride and all these other things? Well, that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to enjoy all of them. My stepfather taught me about pride. He was very proud of his own indigenous background, and he was very proud that he had served as a vet in the Army. And when he got out of the Army, he continued to serve disabled vets, and he was very proud of the work he did. He kind of passed that feeling of pride and honor on to me. He was strong. He was a leader. He was always there for me. I didn't always agree with the way he thought, but he was a great dad. It all comes back to pride. Pride can take so many forms. I am proud to be both a pagan and a Unitarian Universalist. And I'm proud that I just finished my first full-time semester of seminary school. I'm really excited about becoming a regularly fellowship-credentialed UU minister and serving a congregation somewhere. But what brings each of you pride? I want you to think about that this morning. What brings you pride? Pride can take a journey to discover, especially if you are part of the LGBTQIA community. Religion and gender, they're so very subjective. Each one of us experiences religion very a special individual sense of connection. And gender is the same way. We don't all express our gender or the way we love the same way. Our UU faith calls us to create beloved communities. Our faith calls on us as prophetic witnesses to call out injustice whenever we see it, to speak with a clear conscience. So often when people arrive at our doors, they're already hurting from some place that was not accepting, that did not treat them well, that made them feel like they didn't belong. They're already hurting. And sometimes it's not just an individual need, it's an entire community. We see that every day in the news with the immigrants. Let us all be open to each other's story, for each story is beautifully unique. And come together in beloved community. And with that is your call to worship. And we will now light the chalice.
We kindle this flame to spark a sense of community The flame is a symbol of strength within us. It has the power to overwhelm the fear and doubt which we may carry into our lives. The flame represents a feeling of solidarity and safety within these walls. It brings us together in feelings of love and worship, which we can all take with us when we go out into the world.
Now, as I mentioned, today is Father's Day, if you didn't notice. I know I'm really, every year we do these special celebrations for Mother's Day. And, I mean, I love my mom, of course, but we need to give our fathers a little bit of attention this time. So I would like to read this prayer to you. And then I'm going to invite you to come up, and we're going to be watching a video in the background, and I'm going to invite you to come up and pour out a gift of water. And I'm going to explain in my prayer why water is such a special gift. Let our hearts open and our spirits open. Water sustains us from birth until afterlife. Water is cleansing, nourishing, and renewing. It flows within us, connecting us internally and beyond. From shore to shore, earth to sky, clouds to river streams, like the flow from our ancestors to our children's children, sustaining life in all life's forms. Like the fathers we acknowledge, who also sustain and nourish us, and nourish our spirit, our dreams, and our memories, feeding our vision and our inspiration, bringing joy and guiding change. Like the resilience of water, like the history of our fathers, of our kin. We move with the tides through the cycles of time. So I invite you to bring your joys forward. I invite you to come up and pour an offering of water into this bowl, and we shall gift this water to the Earth Mother at the end of the service. Water is sacred in all its forms. So we will give this gift to our fathers, both the ones that are here and the ones that have passed. If you would like to do so, please come up now and we will enjoy the video, which talks about water making us all one.
All my relations come, every nation come, all my relations under the sun, we are one, we are praying come, we are praying come, we are the song and we are the drum, we are one. We are the river come, we are the river come, we are the boat, the paddle, the shore, we are one.
And for all those fathers who could not be with us today, let us remember all of them, all of our ancestors everywhere. And next we will have our worship assistant reflection, and we'll get my partner's take on pride.
Thank you, Reverend Ayliah. Good morning. I'd like to wish everybody here a very happy Father's Day. Straight or gay, rich or poor, male or female, this is a day for celebration. Today is our Pride service. It is also summer solstice, so I suggest at some point today you all run through the woods naked. and worship the sun. We live in a very vulnerable time. Our country's leadership wants us to marginalize pride at every turn, which unfortunately sends a message to the LGBT community that they aren't free to be themselves. Recently, there was a governor in a southern state who demanded all crosswalks be painted white over the rainbow-colored crosswalks in the state. It's very easily to marginalize a community at any time. In fact, we marginalize every day. If you think it's so easy to do, we marginalize over food, colors, how much money you make. There are people who dislike certain cultures. That's marginalization too. They stand in judgment without knowing these cultures. They automatically think that everybody should be the same as their own. In fact, judgment and marginalization, people who've come from foreign nations because of language barrier. There are people out there who think gay pride will somehow rub off on them and will contaminate them, when in fact they haven't taken the time to understand what pride is all about. We all have pride in our work, in our families, in our accomplishments. But what happens in most cases is judgment is in the eyes of the beholder and has no reflection on the pride community. States have passed bathroom bills that can't really be enforced. Who's going to check anyway? Some women have been challenged by security guards for using the correct bathroom for their gender. Believe it or not. I am grateful that we live in a country where my gender is okay with most of the populace. When in fact, people who live in other countries have been executed and jailed for being themselves. This is why we need to celebrate pride. Too many people cast judgment on our community for no reason at all. They stereotype who we are, and in fact, I would say there are people out there that have no clue that they're living next door or working next door with someone in the pride community. I'm proud to say that I'm authentic. I live my life openly as my authentic self. I share my pride openly. I believe in my truth. Perhaps we wouldn't need pride if we didn't hide our true selves. If people could accept all of us, we wouldn't need a day for pride, would we?
I invite all of you to take a deep breath now and to relax, because there's so much going on in the world right now that sometimes it's very hard to find peace within us. And I want to offer you a message of hope. And this is one that you may be familiar with. Actually, what I decided to read for you is a verse from a hymn that we've sung here before. And it's hymn 318, We Would Be One. But just try to relax for a moment and think about those words, that we would be one. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love, to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true, we would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. Let us all seek to build a new community. The times are going to change us, but we don't have to change who we are. And in community, we can hold on to who we are. Thank you. I'm listening to Jamie earlier. I think I'm going to marginalize cauliflower. Anyone have any complaints?
There you go. We'll take that too.
Pride means so much to some people, and it's so different for each one of us. It's a different experience for each one of us. I believe everybody's voice is important, just as everybody's body is sacred. Each one of us has a story, and some people may have many more chapters in their story than the rest of us. But all these stories matter, not just during June, but all year round. Each of our stories is unique because each one of us is unique, regardless of whether you are in the Pride community or not. Your story is valid. Your story is sacred. And the best part of your stories is they are still being written. Writer Joseph Campbell's hero's journey involves quite a bit of self-discovery. The hero of the story must face a lot of difficult challenges and overcome many obstacles to reach transformation. They must make important choices, and they must realize that at no stage is their story over. It's still happening. Our story here is still happening. Our story of this country is still happening. We aren't anywhere near the end of our story. Now, I'm sure that most of you have heard that the first Pride was a riot. Well, that's only partially true. There was nothing to celebrate. There was a deep wound on society because people were not accepting. And they kept poking that wound. And if you ever poke a sore, it hurts more. And the people at the Stonewall Inn finally said, no more. There was no celebration. There were no banners on the lampposts. There were no celebratory music playing. There were so few places in 1969 New York where people could freely express who they were. And the police were constantly raiding them. And this one night, that riot turned violent. Now, fortunately, generations of LGBTQIA people can say that it's gotten better. There are generations of our children that can say they have never had to fight back like that. What happened in 1969 was a major pivotal event that would change the lives of people everywhere. If you were a member of the LGBTQI community, your life was about to improve, gradually, just a little bit at a time, but it was improving. If you were not a member of the LGBTQI community, your life was about to get shaken up. Your world of straight, white, conservative beliefs was about to get rocked. The walls of the echo chamber were coming down. Now, many people were okay with that. They could care less. Oh, it's New York City. Have you ever been there? But there were many who were not. And they have been waiting for a GOP like we have now to pass laws and vilify the Pride community. And once again, as we are threatened, we must stand together. Now, that doesn't always mean raising your voice, standing on the front lines, waving a flag. Some of us are community holders. We hold space together because we are not everyone's brave. I'm not brave enough to do some of the things those protesters are doing. Up at Delaney Hall, getting tear gassed constantly and having guns pointed in their faces. It's not really what I want to do. But I can be here with you, and you can be here with me, and we can be here together. And together we can persevere through this. In the 1960s, there were a lot of protest marches. And one protester was Gilbert Baker. And he used his sewing skills to create a pride flag for these marches. And after the Stonewall Uprising, a friend of his, Harvey Milk, came to him and said, "Hey, we need a symbol to unite all of our people of all the backgrounds." So the first pride flag with 8 colors was meant to be a symbol of empowerment and unity for people of all kinds of walks of life. It wasn't just for the gay people, it was for everybody. That's why it represents things like healing, the earth, the sun, spirit. Okay, there's a color up there for sex. But they didn't say what kind. And the pride flag would go through many changes too. It would, in Philadelphia, themselves would add the black and the brown stripes to symbolize inclusion for the black and brown communities. And then we would have the pink and the blue and the white to symbolize inclusion for the trans communities. And then eventually they would add the yellow with the purple circle for the intersex communities. So even the story of the pride flag was still transforming. Our stories don't stop here. There may be a lot of people in this country who would like the stories to go back instead of forwards, but that's not going to happen. In the Christian Bible, Jacob, a fatherly ancestor to the 12 tribes of Israel, bestows upon his son a coat of many colors. Jacob saw in Joseph the potential to be a good leader. And this coat was much more than a symbol of favoritism because it meant that one day Joseph would become a leader of his family. Now, regardless of what religion you believe, and I have never identified as Christian, but this story can be applied to so many communities. Because if we examine the stories of kings and queens being crowned, there is always a banner. There is always a robe of bright colors. And we come to see that robe and that crown and that banner and those colors as a kingdom of one people, like one big family. Kind of like on the 4th of July, everyone suddenly puts up their American flags. I'd like to know where they are the rest of the year, but they never tell me. But all of a sudden, people come together under that red, white, and blue in one nation, in one big family. And so it happens with the rainbow flag. People coming together, a place where they can feel safe and welcome, where they can let their guards down and express themselves openly. They can experience love and acceptance, some for the first time in their lives. That rainbow flag is not just a symbol of gay pride. It's a symbol of safety and dignity. Now, if we look at Joseph's trials, after he received the coat, he was thrown in a pit by his brothers who were jealous of the coat. And then he was sold into slavery, and then he ended up in prison. And eventually he gets free, and he goes back, and he forgives his family. And I'm like, wow. How many of us have had to go through difficult changes in our life and find some way to rise above them? And if you are someone who has ever had to come out of the closet, it is very possible that you experienced betrayal, like being sold into slavery, being thrown in a dark pit. Perhaps it felt like being thrown in a dark pit and people shamed you into imprisoning your true identity. Just as the people who are trying to imprison others in states like Idaho, Arkansas, Texas, Florida, South Carolina, the list goes on. Not everyone has the courage to stand up to their oppressors like the 1969 Stonewall drag queens. Imagine the moment when you discover your first accepting person. Experiencing your first Pride celebration can feel like a spiritual awakening, like coming home. Now, perhaps some of you were raised in a conservative family. I was. I tell you, I love my father. He was proud of his indigenous roots, and he taught me a lot of things. But he was conservative. Imagine growing up like that. And then one day you find the UU church. You find acceptance and compassion and community. One day you suddenly found the sanctuary where you could freely question anything and everything and choose to believe only the things that felt important to you. I am willing to bet it feels a bit like coming out of the closet. Beloved friends, we have all had our personal experiences with some kind of pain and sorrow, which left us cut off from something important. We have had pain challenge our resilience and transform us. It can challenge us to re-examine our faith, our identities, our destinies, even how we love. And James Luther Adams has a quote. He says, "A faith that is not examined is not a faith worth having." And I think it is so important because we examine everything in our lives, especially as UUs. We question everything. Sometimes we have more questions than answers. So maybe that's why we're a little bit ahead of that arc of moral justice. Perhaps. I'd like to think so. But there may still be some of us who feel disconnected and need our compassion. The rainbow flag, our coat of many pride colors, is more than just an expression of pride in our identities. It is a beacon. It says to your community, this is a safe place. You are welcome here. You are safe here. You are part of our family here. So come with all your pain, all your brokenness, all your questions, all your fears. For this flag says, you matter here, regardless of who you are. You matter here. You matter. Thank you. Gotta believe.
Yes, you do. We now will extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of understanding, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
Joy is resistance. When things feel tough, laugh. When things push you down, dance. Joy is resistance. Don't ever give up the ability to feel joy. I'm often reminded of a picture of the uprisings at Berkeley, where the girl is placing a flower in the gun of a soldier. I'm thinking, joy is resistance. We cannot possibly know the stories of each other unless you make time and space to listen. But even if we don't know each other's stories, we can still accept each other. We can accept each other as being worthy of being loved and valuable to the family of humanity. When we raise our rainbow flag, we assert this is a place where all expressions of love and gender are welcome. This is a place where love is love. From the book, Voices on the Margins, I want to share a prayer with you. It's called A Prayer for Living Intention by Joseph Cherry. I just realized I ran that together. It's not living with intention, it's living in tension. But why not live intentionally? Maybe I meant to say it that way. If we have any hope of changing the world and changing ourselves, we must be bold enough to step into our discomfort, brave enough to be clumsy there, loving enough to forgive ourselves and others. May we, as a people of faith, be granted the strength to be so bold, so brave, and so loving